again, church family, from the Sampson family home. A little different view this morning. My wife has a project going on in the living room that is slowly taking over the entire living room. So I'm pushed out of that room to the dining room, I'm afraid. This week we are propped up by a computer and a cordless drill case, which is better than a coffee cup last week, but we'll see how this video goes. Wanted to talk about another hymn to give you some encouragement, and as we go through these continued times of being separated and unable to worship together as a body of believers. The hymn is one that talks about a characteristic of God that I don't think we think about very often, or a word that we don't use to describe God, and that's invisible. And it's not something that the hymn writer just made up. In 1 Timothy 1:17 it says, "To the King of the ages, immortal, invisible, the only God, be honor and glory forever and ever. Amen." If you know hymns, you've figured out by now that the name of the hymn for this week is Immortal, Invisible. It's hymn number 25 in our hymn book. And again, Mindy Elwell has been gracious enough to record some of that on the piano, and it will be attached to this video again as well. We thank Mindy for that, but just wanted to talk through a little bit of the first verse. I've had a couple of things going on in my life, aside from the whole coronavirus, social isolation, changes at work because of that thing, that have made me glad that I can trust in a sovereign God that knows all and will lead me. But the first verse says this: "Immortal, invisible, God only wise, in light inaccessible, hid from our eyes. Most blessed, most glorious, the Ancient of Days, almighty, victorious, thy great name we praise." This verse reminds me that God is the only wise one. I think a lot of times that I'm pretty smart and pretty wise and know what's best, and even fall into the sin of trying to tell God that I know what's best and here's what he should do. But in the end, it's comforting to know that he is the wise one, that he is in control, that he is the perfect one. As the last part of the verse says, that he is almighty, that ultimately he is victorious, and that because of that, his name is to be praised. I hope that you're not getting discouraged as we go through this time. I look forward to the time when we can worship again. I sense that that still is a ways off, but trust that you will rest in knowing that the invisible God is with you, that he knows what's going on, and that he is wise and worthy to be praised. Thanks again to Mindy for playing some of the song for us. Hope you have a blessed week.